Moving on, our next reader is me.
Hey.
I'm a Joliet native, actually an East Side boy, I'm very proud of that, and currently, for the last 17 years, a Plainfield resident. I've been writing most of my life, including professionally for more than 20 years as a newspaper reporter throughout the suburbs, when there was such a thing as newspapers throughout the suburbs. I have written nearly everything from poetry to plays, and am currently trying my hand slowly, painfully, for the first time at fiction. I published a collection of essays called Chocolate Cows and Purple Cheese and Other Tales from the Home Front, which is about life, about kind of getting older and marriage and politics and faith and all that kind of stuff, and kids, and a poetry collection called Abundance. The first thing I'm going to recite is an essay called Still Dreaming. I was, probably like a lot of people, I was very moved, upset by the reaction after the Trayvon Martin ruling back a couple of months ago. One of the things that most concerned me and upset me was that there was this surprise, kind of like in Casablanca when they say, oh, there's gambling going on here. There was this surprise that somehow racism had not magically disappeared because we had elected an African-American president. And that line of thought dominated the news for several weeks. And interestingly enough, I wrote this several years before, right after President Obama was first elected. And it's called Still Dreaming. President Barack Obama has accomplished many things in his relatively young life, but one thing he hasn't done is end racism. Nor can he, though it seems some people think he has done so. Some seem to believe or wish that just because an African American has been elected president, that racism is no longer a problem in our great country. That the headaches and heartaches caused by racial and ethnic-based hatred and confusion and fear have somehow magically become non-issues. Sadly, nothing could be further from the truth. About 53% of voters who cast a ballot last November voted for Obama. Wouldn't it be great to say that all of those people voted for Obama because they were racially enlightened? But the polls told us that a lot of that majority voted for Obama because they were sick enough of the Republican Party, turned off enough by John McCain, insulted enough by Sarah Palin, or angry enough about any number of other matters to ignore their own racism and vote for a black man. We ended up at the right place, but that doesn't mean that we got there the right way. Not that we have no need for further intellectual, philosophical, and spiritual travel together. In fact, if we as an American society were at all wise, at all honest, at all brave, we would use Obama's most significant accomplishment to date as a platform to dive headlong into the deep end of the issue of racism once and for all. We would confront our misperceptions, our lingering suspicions of those people, whoever they may be for each of us, and have the kind of courageous conversations that need to occur to better understand, appreciate, and even celebrate each other's differences. Only by admitting and accepting what separates us, and you have to love the irony of this, will we be able to finally, truly, sincerely come together. A recent Newsweek magazine article titled "Rethinking Race in the Classroom" raised the point that some people in and around education want to stop teaching Huck Finn and to end Black History Month, all because Barack Obama is now president. The article quotes a Todd Boyd, who teaches race and popular culture at the University of Southern California. Mr. Boyd says, "I think there's a certain sector of the country that now feels racism is over. Let's move on." Indeed, it seems that some people who think this way, including many who voted for this new president, are using his election as a way to assuage their own guilt. It is not unreasonable to call it white guilt, since 43% of white voters supported Obama. I can almost hear them saying, "Okay, that's that. We voted for a black person, cross racism off the list." But it's not that easy. We cannot, as a country, now pretend that 400 years of racially based hatred, societal fear-mongering, and systemic injustice didn't happen, that the sting of racism is no longer felt, and that therefore racism should no longer be a top priority concern just because of one glorious day. President Obama himself, during his campaign, called for more open dialogue about racism and the role race has played in this country's history. That is, admittedly, one mean, tough, scary neighborhood to visit. Still, we must do so, no matter how frightening, no matter how embarrassing, no matter how discomforting. Honest, open dialogue is the only way to get behind the curtain of fear and learn that there's really nothing to be afraid of. In another part of my life, I work with a dear friend and mentor who talks about the need to seek and accept comfort with discomfort, about our inherent national and personal racism. She says that we must be willing, from both sides of the issue, to acknowledge and address the very large elephant in the room. In America, that elephant continues to be racism. It's nice to dream of a world in which people of all races, ethnicities, sexual orientations, physical conditions, religious beliefs, etc., all get along. But then reality slaps us hard across our pink and brown and black faces, and we wake up to the world as it really is. In that world, in our world, we must continue to look at ourselves in the mirror, to confront each and every ugly pimple, so that we might one day be as beautiful as we are in our dreams. In this case, that means continuing to admit, to study, and to work against our country's racist history. We must confront our past so that we can figure out how to change our present and future. How does the saying go? If we ignore our history, we're doomed to repeat it. Yes, we are better than what we were. Having elected Barack Obama to the presidency proves that beyond measure, but we are not yet what we want to be.